Hello everyone, Iandawn back here again with another special guest, Navajo talent broadcaster, L.A. Williams.
Thank you so much to be part of your segment here. L.A. Williams, Navajo Zuni tribe representing, and what I've done 29 years of what Navajo Nation broadcaster does behind the scene of featuring great information. Of course, sports is a big event that I enjoy doing. And so that made me who I am today after 29 years of broadcasting. It's an honor to actually be part of your feature event, so thank you.
All right, Ale. So personally, you're a name that I have grown up knowing all the time. I've always listened to KTNN, I've always listened to different radio stations, and you're a very public figure and that I've always kind of seen that was at the forefront of Navajo entertainment and media. How did you get started, and what drove you to be interested in pursuing that kind of a career?
Great question. And going back from being a high school student, going into college, and that we're talking 29 years ago of having that equal rights of men, women, boy, girl, male, female of broadcast. It's always about the boys, about the men's, of highlighting what sports is. But I knew one day that the girls' basketball would be at that same level. And so challenging that, I think, opened up doors. And being at a radio station in high school, playing basketball, being told, all the ladies, the girls, they're too boring, they're just a waste of time. So they only broadcast the boys' games. Mm-hmm. And so that being said, it drove me toward, radio broadcasts. And that I was always told that I have a good delivery and I have a basketball voice. And so I led right into it. And sure enough, we had great basketball players, Rinaldi Vicente, who went into the WNBA, and she was also recognized as a Hall of Famer. And they have Rainey Crisp over at Navajo Prep, and Gwyn Hobbs, who went to UNLV. So great players, and we went above, and now we're equal. And to this day, we still see that of what basketball is.
Yeah. So with your career, you've been able to kind of tackle all of these different issues, and you've been able to share your broadcasting style with a lot of different audiences. What has the response been like from your personal career?
It really has developed from local, regional to national, and that the Navajo language really played a huge role. Mm-hmm. And being a sports person of giving words, being identified as a basketball player, dribbling, made the basketball from the free throw line. So these are terms that our Navajo language got to have the younger generation learn the Navajo words of being repetitive of them knowing. Today, it's very helpful that grandparents know the game. Once they turn on the radio, it's boom, it's right there, and it's really came a long ways of our history of who we are today. Mm-hmm. And they say the Navajo language is dying out. It's not. We're still here. We're still learning it, and that schools are implemented all that into the textbook, the reading and writing. Navajo Prep you've been to, and at the age now you're at, and you had the academy to the mission school back in the day, and they all can read and write it. They may not be Navajo. So I think that plays a huge role in broadcasts of knowing the Navajo language of what basketball is today.
Yeah. And your journey as a broadcaster has definitely grown over the years, and you've mentioned that it's grown to a national audience. And so you've been able to actually broadcast the in Navajo for the Suns, the Phoenix Suns, the professional NBA basketball team. What has that experience been like for you?
Because of basketball, from where it came from, the hype and the audience, the fans that we brought down to the Valley of the Sun in high school with the voice of the Phoenix Suns, El McCoy, and a college friend who was working in the marketing, they were viewing us, and they came over and they asked us if it was possible to broadcast the Phoenix Suns. And the first thing we did is like, yes. And so that's how it came about 29 years ago, and giving the play-by-play in the Navajo language, and it just blossomed. Now, fast forward, we've done it again. And I think it took a lot of interest, not just within the local level, but worldwide. From different countries, people are saying that this is the Navajo language. And so it's a learning, it's something that we need to share with the audience out there.
And you mentioned that your career spans over 29 years. That's a long career in media and technology. What do you think you have seen progress from the beginning of your career? Like, how has media, technology, entertainment, how has it changed over the years, especially for Native people?
A lot has changed in the industry of broadcasting. We started with the old cassette tapes to the CDs, and now everything's digital. You know, we fast forward, and the younger generation really take advantage of the updated of technology. It's amazing. Life has changed. It's like a new world, new beginning of broadcasting today, or filmmaking, editing. All that has changed because this pandemic started us off, the younger generation, of what to expect into years ahead of us. But we've been through all the on hands of what broadcast is, and now it's going fast forward. We like to see a lot more younger generation to take part in what broadcasting, filmmaking, editing, all that, because it's a lot of fun. It's your life into the future.
Yeah, it's definitely something that interests me. My career is built off of my interest in filmmaking and music production and things like that. And so I'm just curious, what do you think is the importance of having Native representation and Native people in entertainment and media?
I think we're beginning to see a lot more today, and that a lot of backgrounds, such as yourself, you have Pax Harvey, and the family had it going. Now it's more advanced, and it's not just with Navajo Nation, but other tribal nation are really picking up to have the best music, because that's what's catching a lot of the producers of the sound, the style of the dancing. All that is coming together, and it's moving up another level of what this world is all about, what we are as Native American to the outside world. It's producing, it's a huge production, and that's what you're leading into. And we're going to see the best of it, give you another 5-10 years from now.
Yeah, thank you. With Native entertainment and people wanting to pursue a media career, what are some tips you would give somebody who is interested in pursuing that kind of a career?
Well, today's life, from high school to college, it's there, it's implemented. And that if it's something that you have experienced as a young child, you have the dream. And not just that, your family, your grandparents, with our prayers we have today, are praying who you will be in the future. And that's who you are today, of what you do with your production, and what I've done with my voice of the prayers 50 years back to today. And that's our future, and it's already spoken for. And that's who we are today, and it's for the better. And I see that another 10, 15, 20 years today.
You have had such an amazing career, and I feel like I have personally seen you everywhere. It feels like I've seen you in everything. What have been some of the highlight moments of your career? What are some highlight moments that stand out to you that you've appreciated?
Well, off Navajo Nation, I follow a lot of great athletes. One, Cheryl Miller, and her lights, camera, Cheryl Miller, and played for USC, and she played for the Olympics and to the collegiate level, and the WNBA before it became what it is today. She had to coach, she had a chance to coach, and sitting there interviewing her, and within an hour she asks 5 times, I think I met you before. I never did. I read about her, and I seen her on TV, and so that was one of the highlights that kind of drove me into what media broadcast is because of what her background was. And a lot of the others are within our tribal leadership of who we followed along the way. You know, when I was in college, you know, I had a lot of experience because of an athlete running road races, and that seeing Peterson Zaw, you know, talking and having that friendship with the Navajo Nation, or our Hopi chairman, Ivan Sidney, and how he spoke for him. And he always put humor in it, of saying, I'm outdoors attending my crop, and he was saying it's election year and the crows are coming over and they're looking down at me and they already know who won. Zaw, zaw. So humor like that, you know, is always getting my attention. And so just the leadership of who played what role of who they are today.
Absolutely. And, you know, today we had the opportunity to talk. We interviewed for your radio segment. And you posed the question to me, where do you see your career in 5 to 10 years? And so I kind of want to throw that question back to you because, you know, you've had a long, successful career. I'm just curious, you know, what else do you want to do?
Well, today, at the age I'm at, of 29 years experience of what broadcasts have done for me, and it was very successful. And I look at it too, a lot is changing, a lot is going digital, and that the younger generation are hands-on into the future. Maybe 10, 20 years, you know, I'll probably be retired, and I get to review my life of what I've done in the past, and I focus on what you're going to do and others that are going into what we're doing today. And I think I'm looking forward to a lot of better things to see in the future of what you'll be doing is what I'll be seeing in the future.
Well, Ellie, I definitely appreciate your time and thank you for inviting me to be on your radio segment. I definitely enjoyed it and I got to learn a lot today, especially on the live side of things. I think that's something that I wasn't too familiar with. And so I had that awesome opportunity to hang out with you today and learn some of those things. Are there just any other things that you would want to share with, you know, the Diné people, Navajo people, with any of my viewers about yourself, about your career? And
well, we'll pretty much focus on you. Whatever you may be doing tomorrow on, just don't lose sleep. I know what you're planning on doing, because I've been through that a lot of flying out to Nashville and setting my alarm on 5, 10 different alarm clocks so I won't miss my flight.
Yeah.
But I just take it, you know, you have a good road ahead of you. You have the support. The Navajo Nation is behind you. Learn everything there is. I think you're on the right path. And we pray for you into the future, and that's the person you're going to be 10 years from now.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate your advice, and I appreciate the mentorship that you've given me today, and I know that we'll carry that on. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here again today. This has been Let's Talk Navajo.